Barbershop quartet will.
Huh?
The Barbershop quartet will. They'll tell you a little bit about what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want 70 bottles of this stuff.
Oh, absolutely can.
I keep it all centered over by the front door.
No frown.
I can't see. I wear glasses on. So I'm trying to see if it's 7 o'clock.
We're almost there.
Okay.
Just about there.
Yeah, I got to start wearing them. Yeah, because that hurt. I look like a mug and somebody.
Yep, and we're ready whenever you are.
Okay. We want to welcome you to our Leavenworth City Commission meeting. We ask that you turn off or silence all cell phones. Meetings are televised every day on Channel 2 at 7 p.m. and at midnight. At this time, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a silent meditation.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda, presentations. Lynn Rolfe. On behalf of City of Leavenworth, Kansas proclamation, members of the United States Armed Forces began serving in an advisory role to the government of the Republic of South Vietnam in 1961. In 1965, United States Armed Forces ground combat units arrived in Vietnam, and by the end of 1965, there were 80,000 United States troops in Vietnam. And by 1969, a peak of approximately 543,000 troops were reached. And on January 27, 1973, the Treaty of Paris was signed, which required the release of all United States prisoners of war held in the North Vietnam and the withdrawal of United States Armed Forces from South Vietnam. And more than 58,000 members of the United States Armed Forces lost their lives in Vietnam, and more than 300,000 members of the armed forces were wounded. And the Vietnam War was approximately divisive issues among the people of the United States, and was also a conflict that caused a generation of veterans to wait too long for the United States public to acknowledge and honor the efforts and service of such veterans. I, Jermaine Wilson, Mayor Pro Tem of City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim March 29, 2018 to be Welcome Home Vietnam Veteran Day.
Certainly, Jermaine, I never pass up a chance to say it.
You're just
This
like
time
him.
I got glasses.
You're just like him.
Mine will be short. First of all, I got to break a John Wayne rule of mine by apologizing to you all for missing last month. I was at Fort Benning, Georgia, part of a dedication on the 28th of March, where we lost 30 soldiers in 1971 Fire Base Marianne. So we dedicated a monument at Fort Benning, and I needed to be there. And then we got kind of screwed up on the schedule. So please accept my apology. I accept this proclamation for the soldiers who fought the Vietnam War. They served in the toughest of conditions, extreme heat, rain. Put yourself in the place of these young soldiers as I read these. Extreme heat, rain, mud, darkness, mosquitoes, rats, leeches, snakes, bugs, landmines, snipers, ambushes, friendly fire, close combat with the enemy. But each one of these men, and I should add women, walked the daily paths of danger, bearing the stress of injury and death for their brothers in arms and country. Even when abandoned by many of our countrymen at home, they stayed the course, showing the strength and courage that few men are forced to find within themselves. I always consider it an honor and a privilege to have served with them. And here on my left is Sergeant Mike Haddock. Good officer, never goes any place without a good NCO. He takes care of me all the time. He served in 68 and 69 Vietnam, and I served in 71 and 72. I also like to thank the families of all those who served in Vietnam. They suffered as much as those who were deployed. But also let's remember the soldiers who now stand watch, especially today, tomorrow, as things might unfold. You know, there are some anxious families out there. They now stand watch with fortitude as we'll go home and sleep tonight, and we will daily go about our busy work. So think about them. This proclamation, too, I would like to also add that, well, it's not really a controversy, but I want to make sure that your local Vietnam vets, thank you for this proclamation for Welcome Home. Should be Welcome Home for all veterans every day of the year. But especially our Vietnam War era veterans. Yeah, there are a few wannabes and stolen valor things going on out there, but those are kind of few and far between. But a lot of our veterans who served during those many years that we were in Vietnam, whether they had orders to go to Germany, Fort Riley, Fort Benning, wherever, still stood up and took the oath. And we all are brothers together. And we don't want to forget the era people as much as those of us who walked in the jungle. They just had different orders than we had. So again, thank you all very much for this honor. And welcome home to all the Vietnam vets in town.
Next person, Janice Lamb. Excuse me. I've been practicing this, so don't get mad at me if I mess it up. On behalf of the city of Leavenworth, Kansas, we would like to present you with the proclamation, World Tai Chi and Qigong Day. Qigong, I messed it up. It's now celebrated in over 80 nations. In Tai Chi and Qigong, traditional Chinese exercise, are a series of mindful, relaxed movements increasingly found to benefit health and appropriate for people of all fitness levels. And numerous studies have pointed to the benefits of Tai Chi, including stress relief and improved balance and coordination among the elderly, as indicated by an Emory University School of Medicine in Atlanta study and the numerous other studies related to stress. The immune system, flexibility, and general health have been reviewed by the National Institute of Health and can be found at www.tichan.taichi and www.worldtaichiday.org. And Tai Chi and Qigong Day is meant to bring practitioners together and allow people to learn more about Tai Chi and Qigong through this day of celebration and practice that we celebrate around the world on the last Sunday in April. Now, therefore, I, Jermaine Wilson, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim April 28th to be World Tai Chi and Qigong Day.
I just want to make a couple of remarks. First of all, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, members of the council. In Leavenworth itself, Tai Chi has been going on for 18 years. It's mostly done down at, for our seniors at the senior center, but there are also other studios in town that do it. At the senior center, we think, and thinking back on this just before the meeting, that probably hundreds of Leavenworth citizens have gone through the program. There are several doctors in town who recommend it. It's also recommended and done in the cardiology departments down at KU Med. So there's a pretty widespread opinion that this in fact does have benefits. Some people call it, well, you know, it's sort of yoga for people that are hyperactive because you're moving around while you're trying to meditate. And I guess there's some truth to that. But it does provide a great deal of relaxation. For the elderly, it provides the opportunity to stretch muscles and to use muscles that they haven't used in the past. We're very grateful to the Leavenworth County Senior Center for their support in this. And of course, we're very, very grateful to you for your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Keith Owen, Tracy Dane, Brad Cox, and Bill Bay. On behalf of City of Leavenworth, we'd like to present to you a proclamation. The Society for the Preservation and Encouragement of Barbershop Quartet Singing in America, now known as the Barbershop Harmony Society, was founded in April 1938 and is celebrating its 80th anniversary. And the Barbershop Harmony Society promotes singing and harmonious relations in the United States and in many countries throughout the world. And the Cody Corliers of the Leavenworth chapter of the Barbershop Harmony Society are celebrating 49 years of barbershop harmony and community service in the Leavenworth area. And the Cody Corliers work with the community to promote music education in the Leavenworth schools and entertain residents and visitors to the first city of Kansas. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Pro Tem Mark Jermaine Wilson, Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim April 2018 to be Barbershop Harmony Month. Thank you.
We're going to sing.
Oh, good.
Well, I'm going to say something, and then we'll sing. But as he said, this is our 49th year, and as the last remaining active charter member of this organization, I've been doing it 49 years. Next year will be our 50th, so we're going to try to do a little bit bigger deal. We'd like to have anybody who likes to sing to come join us on a Monday night at the Presbyterian basement of the Presbyterian Church. You come if you want to sing. You come and we'll help you learn the barbershop style. We'll leave you with a little song.
You have to be a man, right?
I don't care where you stand, just stand there. Down our way, both night and day, you know everybody and they all know you, and even policemen say, how do you do? Pals by the score and gals galore, and that old gang of mine, they sang sweet Adeline, down our way, down our way.
Mr. Pat Tooley, on behalf of the City of Leavenworth, we want to present you with the proclamation. The Congress of the United States passed the Civil Rights Act of 1968, of which Title 8 declared that the law of the land would now guarantee the rights of equal housing opportunity, and the City of Leavenworth is committed to the mission and intent of Congress to provide fair and equal housing opportunities for all. And today, many Many realty companies and associations support fair housing laws, and the fair housing groups in the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development have, over the years, received thousands of complaints and of alleged illegal housing discrimination, and found too many that have proved upon investigation to be violations of the fair housing laws. And equal housing opportunities is a condition of life in the city of Leavenworth that can and should be achieved. I, Jermaine Wilson, Mayor Pro Tem of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim April 2018 to be Fair Housing Month and celebrating 50 years of fair housing.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
I just wanted to say on behalf of the Leavenworth Housing Authority, we'd like to thank the city commission, also, which is also the housing board, for your support in fair housing. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you.
Chief. On behalf of the city of Leavenworth, we would like to present you with the proclamation. Emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services. And when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property, and the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Leavenworth Police Fire Communication Center. And public safety dispatchers are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And public safety dispatchers of the Leavenworth Police Department have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients, and each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year. I, Jermaine Wilson, Mayor Pro Tem of the city of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim April 9/13, 2018 as National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, on behalf of my colleague, our Deputy Fire Chief Mike Shore, and our 10 full-time dispatchers who work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they field somewhere between 65 and 70,000 phone calls a year. They facilitate somewhere around 22,000 calls for service a year. They do an exceptional job. We call them the unsung heroes of public safety. We accept this proclamation. Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda, old business. Do we have any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I would move that we accept the meeting minutes from March 27th, 2018.
I'll second it.
A motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Griswold.
Aye.
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 Motion carried 4-0. Next item on the agenda, second consideration ordinance. Second consideration ordinance number 8073, special use permit, 1922 Fifth Avenue Child Care Center.
Carla Williamson, our city clerk, will handle this item.
At the March 27th, 2018 City Commission meeting, the City Commission reviewed and placed on first consideration an ordinance allowing a special use permit for a child care center to be located at 1922 Fifth Avenue in the city of Leavenworth, Kansas. The ordinance is now presented for second consideration and would require a roll call vote. If you have any questions on it, I can try to answer those for you.
Questions?
I don't have any questions.
Begin voting with.
Do we need to make a motion, or?
No, it's a roll call vote, so you just call the roll.
Begin voting with Commissioner Dedeky.
Aye.
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 Motion carried. Next item on the agenda, second consideration ordinance number 8074, changing the name of Sheraton Avenue to Sheridan Street. This also requires roll call.
Again, this one was presented on March 27th, and the City Commission did place it on first consideration. It is an ordinance to change the name of Sheraton Avenue to Sheraton Street. This one also would require a roll call vote and is now presented for that.
All right. I'll begin voting with Commissioner Griswold.
Aye.
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 All right, motion carried. New business. At this time, we'd like to open the floor up to citizens. If anybody have any concerns that they would like to address the commission. Moving on to the next item. Proposed industrial revenue bonds, IRB for Care Pharmacy.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. Last year, the city was approached by the owners of Care Pharmacy, which is Sandeep and Karishma Kandalwal. They purchased property located at 2500 South 4th Street, which is across from the strip center that's owned by the Greenemeyers that has the Hallmark in it. And they purchased that property adjacent to the river there, and the lot adjacent to that was also, they approached the city in September of 2017, which we agreed to sell them that lot when they had approved building plans on file with the city, which should happen any day now. The Kandalwals have also asked for a sales tax exemption on their building materials and labor through the industrial revenue bond financing mechanism. So we are allowed to do that by state statute, and that would essentially grant Care Pharmacy to use the city's sales tax exempt certificate for purchasing their building materials and labor on this approximately 9,000 square foot building that they're building on this lot that was previously vacant, and then the other lot adjacent to it was city-owned, so it didn't generate property tax either. Sandeep Kandalwal is here to address any questions you might have. This item just requires a consensus among the commission for us to move forward in drafting the ordinance, agreement to move forward with the industrial revenue bond financing.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and if there are any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Do you plan on, how many jobs do you plan on bringing with the expansion of your business and new location?
We are expecting about 8 to 10 full-time jobs that will be brought in because of this new enhancement that we're planning.
When do you plan on starting the construction, starting the development of this business?
We are already behind on the schedule, so we were planning to have our construction started sometime in February, but we are a little behind. We are expecting the construction to be done sometime early January or February of next year.
Is it completely new building?
Completely brand new from ground up.
I'm excited about it, so we have to just reach a consensus on this.
Okay, so we have a consensus to move
I
forward?
do have one other question. It's just on the sales tax exemption for all the building materials and labor to build the facility?
Correct.
Okay.
So from some preliminary estimates that I've calculated, it looks from the documents they submitted in their application, it would be about $808,000 in building materials and labor, which would end up with $76,000 in sales tax. So we would be foregoing that, but understanding that this is really bringing a lot of property tax for that property.
Okay,
And
well, I
the
appreciate that.
Sales tax will be generating after they get it done, so.
But I appreciate that. Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Yeah, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next item on the,
We have to
Do a consensus?
do a consensus. I support
move
it.
forward?
I'm good?
Yes.
I'm good.
Okay.
I support it.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, bids, contracts, and agreements. Consider bids for Riverfront Community Center, re-roof and skylight replacement.
We have Steve Grant, our Parks and Rec Director.
Thank you, Taylor. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. This is the bid for the replacement of the flat roof area at the Riverfront Community Center. It is, as you know, the community center was renovated and into a community center and added onto and opened in 1988. The flat roof area is part of the new addition that it's not coming up on the screen. There we go. Okay, thank you. We would've got by though. I don't think I put pictures in everybody's packets, but I wanted to, as you know, the community center is a big building and it's very disjointed, so I wanted to get some pictures and some slides up to talk about the area that we're talking about specifically. If I can. Okay, didn't go to the second picture. The second picture in your packet is basically just a diagram that just shows the shaded area is the flat roof area. In the front portion of that that says dining. That's what you know as the Riverview room, the big carpeted room that we hold a lot of the events in. Oh, there we go. I think we're getting there. So the shaded area is all flat roof. It's the area between the Riverview room and the women's waiting room. It extends over the kitchen and some storage area. Next slide, please. That's just a basic diagram of it. The next picture that you have in your packet is actually up on the roof. In the foreground of that picture is obviously the flat roof. What you're seeing there are stone pavers, and that is actually, it's on top of like a felt material, on top of tar, on top of an insulation, on top of a roof board. So there's several different layers. Obviously, in 30 years, roofing materials have come a long way. So this project, it includes removal of all of those layers of material all the way down to the metal roofing. So all the deck board and all of the insulation and everything, and replacing it with a new Dens deck type of roofing deck board, which also gives the fire protection. And
So that's a composite, like it's just like a composite.
It's like a composite board. It's kind of like a drywall, only it's fire rated.
Okay.
And that's your first layer, and then on top of that you have your insulation. And then the new type of roofing is called TPO, and it's the same type that we put on the Performing Arts Center when we re-roofed it a few years ago.
Okay.
What you're looking at here is southwest, facing southwest. Obviously, like I said, the flat roof is in front of us. Some things I want to point out in this picture: the roof you see and the building part you see in the back, that is the women's waiting room. And the stonework, as you go up the eaves of that and across the middle of it, that is going to be part of the stone replacement project in 2019. The reason I bring that up, the replacement of this roof has no effect on that, other than when we do that project, we'll make sure that the contractor on the roof or on the stone replacement project has all the warranty and manufacturer information on the roof, so that it does not get voided in any way. So that's very important as far as this project. Just now another elevation looking to the southeast. That roof you see there, just to orientate you a little bit, that is the roof of the Riverview room. And then you see a lot of the different air handling units, which makes this a very complicated job. The reason we're replacing this, we've had just tons of leaks. Every time it rains, we fight new leaks that end up with problems right down in our Riverview room. And as everybody knows, that's pretty much our main function room. It is the original roof that was put on it in 1988, so it is 30 years old. My guess is it was probably a 20-year roof at the time. This final elevation is facing north. The roof you see in the far end down there, that's the roof over the pool area. And then on the left side, now I have a very good picture of it here, but where that arrow is at, those are the skylights. There's two skylights in line right there. And if you've never seen them in there, it's not a surprise, because they don't let a lot of light through. They've been there for quite some time and are quite weathered. So those two replacement, they are also and part of this bid as well. Also, there's flat roof area on top of the the elevator shaft, and the rooms adjacent to the elevator shaft. Those are also included in this bid. So with that, we had a record-breaking turnout at our pre-bid meeting. I was very, very happy. We had 11 vendors show up for our pre-bid, and we were able to take them up on the roof, actually get their hands dirty, show them every inch of it. And some of our the contractors from American Roofing actually cut out a piece of the roof and cut a hole. And actually, they did it in 3 different places and cut it clear down to the deck so they could get a real accurate look at what they were taking out. Fortunately, they also repaired those holes after they got done doing it. So I'm like, you are going to repair that, aren't you?
You did it on a dry day, right?
We did. Yeah, we were lucky it was a dry day, and we were really happy with the turnout of vendors. We did get 4 competitive bids. We opened bids on Wednesday, March 28th at 10 a.m. The low bid was from American Roofing in the amount of $87,773. That is for the replacement, removal, discarding all the material and replacement of the roof, as well as the skylights. We have $140,000 allocated in the 2018 CIP for this, so staff recommends accepting the bid from American Roofing in the amount of $87,773. With that, if there's any questions you might have that I might try and answer.
Well, they ought to know the roof better than anybody else.
Right.
Since they used to own the building. But,
Right.
I'm really glad to see they got the bid though, and there's a wide range in the amounts on there. Between the lowest one and the highest one was $213,000, so.
That does concern me sometimes. I mean, and are you confident? You had a request for proposal, right, that went out, I mean, in terms of the technical specifications that each of the bidders have to meet. Are you confident that American Roofing will meet those technical qualifications, specifications?
Very much so, very much so. The contractor from Boone Brothers, the really high one, he was actually at the bid opening and came up to me afterwards and said, I just want to be honest with you, we are so loaded down with projects. Okay. I knew I was going to be way high on this, but I wanted to give you a bid since he was very active at the pre-bid as well. Very informative gentleman. But he said they were so loaded down, he went ahead and put a bid in, but he was just upfront.
Did all 4 of them meet the technical specifications?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so,
yep.
Okay.
Well, it kind of goes back to what you had said before, with American Roofing being local, a lot of business being local, they don't have to do the traveling, so I think.
That's true. Well, that's a good
costs.
point. Yeah. Have they done work for the city before?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And they've worked on this building a lot.
So they know this building.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was actually at the pre-bid, it was actually one of their employees, one of the American Roofing employees that dug the hole, that cut the holes in the roof and did the investigative work, and so they know exactly what they're going into, and obviously the proximity, there's not a lot of local, relocate or moving costs, so.
Steve, I've got a real quick question for you.
Yes,
What's
sir.
gonna happen to the pavers?
We just marked them to be discarded, so the contractors can take that into consideration with their bid if they have another use for them. It's up to them.
Thinking about the city keeping them, not
Yeah,
giving it to them.
if we could.
I mean, they can be
worth
used for many different things. We got
using
room
our
to
parks?
stockpile.
Use them in our parks and stuff.
I can confer with the contractor and see if they made that a thought process in their bid. If they said, well, we're planning on reselling them for.
If it's not in their written bid, I wouldn't worry about it. I just tell them we're keeping them.
Yeah, they did not address them specifically, so I can address.
Especially if they're just planning on throwing them out, because
Yeah.
I've seen companies do that before, and if they're gonna do that, then I think we ought to try to keep them.
Sure, I can definitely.
Is the entire roof this area covered by pavers, or?
It is.
Really?
Yeah, this whole flat roof area has those pavers on it, so. I'll have that conversation with them at our pre-construction meeting, and we'll figure out what we can do with them.
Okay. I would appreciate it.
Any other comments?
We need I guess we need
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the bid, from American Roofing, not to exceed $87,773 for the roof repair at the Riverfront Community Center.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
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 Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, consider bids for Streets Division trucks.
Curtis Marks and Mike McDonald will handle this item.
No, we don't have any. No photos? We don't have any photos, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, Curtis Marks here with me as Operations Superintendent, and in his budget this year was replacement of 3/4 ton pickup truck. He has worked with his staff and engineering staff and prepared specifications for the truck. And we sought to utilize the services of the state of Kansas Cooperative Purchasing Program, where they have obtained quotes on a variety of equipment that may be useful to other governments within the state. And those prices are available depending on the terms of their agreement with the state of Kansas to the local municipalities. We did find a favorable value in the replace this vehicle that is 15 years old with a new Dodge pickup truck from Davis Moore, I believe it's Wichita.
That's correct.
Yeah, for about $25,000. This is considerably discounted from their list price of $42,000. The truck meets the bid specifications. There's a couple of comments on the size of the alternator and that sort of thing, which our staff opinion is were not critical to the success of the project, if you will. And as we're moving forward, we'd recommend that the City Commission approve the purchase of the 2018 Dodge pickup truck from Davis Moore Incorporated.
That's a great deal.
After 15 years, 15-year replace, was that the other one?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Wow, that's good.
And it's actually, the price of the $25,000 includes a trade-in value of $3,500 that they will be getting. That's a favorable trade-in value.
That is good.
As well.
Well, Mr. Commissioner Dedeke, you're a car man.
I agree with the bid.
At this time, I entertain a motion.
Okay. I move to approve the purchase of the 2018 Dodge Ram 2500 regular cab 4x4 pickup not to exceed $25,686.02 from Davis Moore Incorporated.
I'll second it.
Motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Griswold.
Aye.
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 Motion is carried 4-0. Next item on the agenda, consider bids for plastic refuse bags.
Yeah.
That's one of our annual projects is purchasing new trash bags for the community. The price of the bags is included in the price that the residents pay for refuse service. Curtis Marks is now operations superintendent, but in previous life he was the refuse foreman and is fairly intimate what makes a good bag and what does not. And we prepare one bid each year to provide about 1.1 million bags, I think, ultimately, for distribution to the residents. That occurs twice a year. There's a fairly large number of vendors that are capable of supplying the bags, and we received 4 bids from 4 qualified vendors. However, 2 vendors submitted samples with their bids that were found to be not qualified under the bid specifications and were rejected, and we recommend approval of the bid from Jadcor Incorporated, whom we have used many different times, for $127,880.
That's a little bit over the budgeted amount, so it's going up in price again.
Tied to petroleum, the cost of a barrel of oil?
Yes, sir. It's an interesting, it ties to the price of petroleum, and then it also ties to the general economic activity of the country, which is some of the resins and things become more or less valuable depending on how many other people want them. So you'll see some interesting cycles in the prices of the bags over the last 20-something years. There's no real predicting it, although they tend to go up over time. And in 2003, we've paid approximately $58,000 for a similar number of bags.
This is for a year's requirement of bags, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do other cities use bags? I mean, cities are different, right, in terms of how they pick up their refuge?
That's correct.
I mean, in Leavenworth County or in the metro area, I mean, there are a number of cities like us that use the plastic bags, or?
There's some that use both carts and bags. The city of Lansing, for example, they have a cart system where they have either 65 or 95 gallon carts at the curb, but they buy their own bags to put into the carts. Some cities have bag limits and ask the residents to purchase their own bags. But the city's done this for quite a while, I think since the 70s.
Right. Olathe used to be similar, but I think they've converted to carts.
Yes, they converted over to carts. The city of Olathe has converted to carts. So.
And why would they do that? From a cost, or is there an environmental aspect of, or, I mean, I know why would they do that? I mean. The
cart system basically, it engulfs collection, how you collect the trash, so it can go to semi-automatic or automated, and you use the truck, the mechanics of the truck to pick up the carts versus manual labor to pick up the bags.
Which is what we do.
And I think most communities contract out their refuse service.
Okay.
The city has chosen not to for a variety of reasons, one of which is we pick up a lot more than most of the other communities with their regular trash. And our trash, we find it economical to use our own forces to pick up the bags and toss them in the back of the truck. Going to an automated collection system without some level of restrictions, you're essentially picking up automated and you're sending somebody out to pick up the other stuff, so you have no cost savings.
And in the past, excuse me, in the past I've researched this item just over the past couple of years, and it does seem that carts wouldn't work as well for us with all of our historic neighborhoods. People wouldn't have that driveway or level surface to place their cart, so that would be an issue. So
you actually did study it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we study it every year.
We're the newcomers, so that's why I like history, so I'm glad it was studied. Yeah.
And then we do have the specific types of trash trucks, and we have a lot of good public feedback from our service. And
Lions Club delivers trash bags, and we hear it from the people. They like having their trash picked up, and they like the bags. And I think there was a time where the bags weren't as good once or twice, but they've been really great the last few years. And so.
Well, I appreciate the history. I appreciate the history lesson. I do. So.
I started to say I'd put up Leavenworth City's trash pickup against any city in the United States.
Absolutely.
They do a fantastic job.
I mean, they pick up stuff. I almost stopped and took a picture today because they were picking up rolls of carpet and throwing it out. Really?
Pick up a house.
Oh, they pick up everything.
That's much appreciated.
But like on those rolls of carpet, did they go into the regular refuge truck, or do we send around other?
Everything goes into the regular refuge truck. That's correct.
But some things can't go into the.
Well, they do have limitations: carpet, boards, and
weight
limbs. You got to bundle it. It's got to be bundles have to be 60 pounds or less, 5-foot lengths. But it has to meet the dimensions of the back of the truck, the hopper of the truck, for us to be able to put it in safely.
But you send out
put a couch in there, sofa or something.
Right. So you send out other assets. So, I mean, you see that.
I'm sorry?
So you see that, and then you have to send out other assets, right? Other trucks or something to get those odds. Yeah.
We call it bulk metal items. We have a special pickup on Fridays for that as well.
Okay.
Some items require for you to pump down the Freon, but yes, to go along with what you're saying, a lot of the items are too big to put in the back of the truck.
That's what I figured.
And residents are always able to call ahead and let them know that they have those at the curb.
And those items are recycled, so the money does come back to the city, scrap metal. So.
We do pick up tires. It's not as common as it was 25 years ago, but there's an allowance per address for a number of used tires. They get picked up separate, not thrown in with the trash. But
on Fridays,
The tires?
Yes.
The tires get picked up within 24 hours of your trash day. So if you put it out on your trash day, we'll come back at the end of business to pick it up. They don't go into the landfill. We recycle those as well.
Glad you told me tonight with the trash day, I got some tires.
Yeah, there you go.
Any other comments?
The only and you told me, Curtis, when we went out and toured the service center before we took office, Jermaine and I, but where is our trash taken? Is it taken out to that county?
The county transfer station, that's correct.
Which is on Gilman Road?
Gilman Road, out in Lansing, correct.
It is important to note that it is, in fact, the city commission's trash to direct where it goes. We're under no requirement by the county or the state to take it to the transfer station. We can take it to any licensed disposal facility in the state.
Okay.
Does the recycling take place out there too, in terms of like, or does that take place at our service center?
At both locations. It mirrors what we do in town. They have a recycling facility out at the transfer station as well.
I'm out of questions.
I entertain a motion.
Okay, and move that approval of the bid by JAGCOR Incorporated for 23,000 rolls of bags, not to exceed $127,880.
I'll second it.
Motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
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 Motion carried 4-0. Next item on the agenda, consent agenda. Commissioner
Yes,
Griswold.
just real quick, this week's claims/expenditure report was a little longer than the last one. It was 9 pages. I think last time it was 3 pages, but I'll just bring 2 payments to the attention of the commission and our citizens, and not really in the amounts, but just for what they went for. The city's monthly payments to United Healthcare Insurance, Delta Dental, and Vision Service Plan were part of this particular claims report. And then the only other one was, that I wanted to bring to the attention of the commission, was the payment of the HUD Section 8 equal/fair housing money to participating public housing and apartment complexes in Leavenworth. And so I thought that was significant, and that's a very, very important program. So those are the 2 specific payments. So I will, at this point, make a motion to approve claims for March 24, 2018 through April 6th, 2018 in the amount of $1,766,321.74. Net amount for pay number 7 effective March 30th, 2018 in the amount of $326,298.26. No police and fire pension.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Griswold.
Aye.
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 Motion carried 4-0. Any other comments?
You're lucky it's only 9 pages.
Yeah, I know.
Before
I
Ms.
think one of
Ruby
the first
came
one.
in,
I
It
know.
was about 50 pages we
Yeah,
had to study every
it's
time.
pretty easy to get through, but I'm learning a lot by
They've done a lot to
just so we can, yeah.
encapsulate us.
I had, is this kind of the end? Okay, I just had, first of all, I'd like to thank Melissa Bauer and the staff for everything as far as the spring cleanup, and I just had a question. I think I'm gonna go with the Catholic Church, because they didn't go because of the cold weather. Were there a lot of organizations that didn't participate because of the cold weather on Saturday, Melissa?
Well, I think that most of them did participate.
Okay.
Not all of them picked up trash that day.
Okay.
We had a lot of other groups that did it on a different, I know there was a big group at Woolman Park last night, so.
Okay.
The Catholic Church is doing it next.
Yeah, next Saturday, right? Yeah, so I think I'll join them for that. Okay, thank you very much. The only other thing I would say, and I've got a draft email that I was gonna send to Mark, just in terms of trying to build on the spring cleanup. We had a good, I think, discussion about the cleanliness and the beautification of the city and its appearance and image last Wednesday during our goal-setting session. And I'm just interested in having a campaign that would sustain where we are now, because I've even noticed on some of the streets that where the trash is picked up, there's already, some people have thrown out trash. So that's all I think I am gonna send an email to Mark, and just maybe we could have a study session to get into a little more detail about how we could attack that and sustain and keep our city in good shape from an appearance and image standpoint.
Good idea.
And then, let me think. Oh, I just wanted to point out, I got my first city connection today, and Mark had a letter from, and I thought it was great. It was about strategic communication. I learned something in terms of the e-news. I wasn't signed up for that, so I will get, but I thought it was a very powerful and a very good letter, and I applaud his efforts in terms of reaching out to our citizens, and I don't think he missed anything in terms of strategic communication. So that's all I have.
That's good. Commissioner Dedeky?
No, I have nothing.
Commissioner
No,
Bader?
you said everything I was thinking. So.
Okay.
All right. Motion to adjourn the meeting?
So, second.
Yeah.